Hi, taking in class. We are group 4 and welcome to our presentation on design thinking case study analysis. Our group consists of 6 members as you can see on the slides. So firstly, have you ever wondered how people used to manage their money at the beginning of the 2000s? Or have you ever wondered how a bank encouraged its new customers to open bank accounts? And lastly, did they use any strategy or method to make the process easier? In this video, our group will answer these questions by analyzing the case study of the Bank of America Keep the Change program, a project that utilized the design thinking method to bring numerous customers to a Bank of America. Here's what we're going to cover in our presentation, starting with some context and then analyzing each step of the design thinking process, and finally the result of this program and some takeaways for you guys. So before jumping into the project analysis, let me provide some context of the problem for you. So back in the early 2000s, while most of the banks created their products and services in sync with operational efficiencies and processes in mind rather than focusing on their target customer, Bank of America chose an outstanding approach. The bank hopes to bring a human-centered angle to an industry that is hardly known for innovation. Having located their target customers, which are boomer-age women with children, the team came up with a problem statement: how to encourage new customers to open bank accounts. Therefore, they applied the design thinking method that consisted of 5 parts, starting with empathizing.
To conduct the ethnographic research, the team conducted group interviews with families in Atlanta, Baltimore, and San Francisco. They observed a dozen families and followed model around when they went shopping or dining to understand their spending and banking habits. To implement the design thinking process, the team also worked in touch with people who were great at saving and peers struggling with it, taking inspiration from some of the existing everyday habits people have around saving, like checkbook registers. Analyzing the data and understanding data from the emphasis stage, they enter the second stage, defining the problem.
So during the DeFi stage, they realized a fascinating pattern. Mothers were in charge of managing finances, and an extreme group in this pattern turned out to be single mothers who are often on tight budget and keep track of the money benefits. They also felt that it's not the age of the mom that affects the financial needs and behaviors. It is her kids' ages. That's when they came with the target audience of the campaign, the boomer age women with children. So in the early 2000s, where there were no banking application, everyone used to keep checkbook registry, listing their bills, ATM withdrawals, and expenses, which was a common way to manage money at that time. However, while looking at the checkbook, they realized two problems. Firstly, older women used to round up the number while writing a check rather than mentioning the exact amount. For example, instead of writing a check of $89.76, they used to round it up to $90, though it simplified the calculation, but it also added a little buffer each month. And the second most concerning point was that mothers were unable to save because some did not have enough money to put anything aside, while others could not control their impulse buying. And besides those problems, while money was at the forefront of moms' minds, banking is not. Moms dissociate money from their banks, but banks believe the two are synonymous, therefore creating an emotional connection between money and bank would be critical. And finally, the banking experience feels sometimes technical, even intimidating to some, which reveal an opportunity to humanize the banking process. And so after going through all these points, the researchers realized that behavior reveal an unaddressed need in banking and offered the opportunity to create the value for both customer and the bank. And here we will go to the ideate phase.
After defining the problem and generating insights from research. Two vice presidents from Bank of America put together a team of stakeholders across the company, including product managers, finance experts, software engineers, and operation experts to brainstorm for product ideas. And after 20 sessions and a total of 80 product concepts, they picked the Keep the Change one. It was a service that automatically rounds up customers every financial transaction and to the nearest dollar, and the difference will then be deposited into their savings account. So, for example, if I were a customer and I buy a $2.70 coffee using my debit card, the bank will charge it as $3, and the extra 30 cents will automatically be transferred to my savings account. Um, and A cartoon was then created to test among a focus group of 1,600 consumers in an online survey. In the cartoon, a woman was shown using the service, and after the cartoon received an overwhelmingly positive response, the design team got the approval from the bank's consumer department to continue with the program, whose name was a suggestion from a woman in the focus group. After revising the concept based on feedback from customers and stakeholders, 3 features were added. One, both a customer's savings and checking accounts were to show a summary of all the transactions that were rounded up. 2, a feature that prevented the rounding up if a customer's checking account was having a negative sum. And finally, a promotional program that would make the bank match the difference when rounding up to $250 a year. So for example, if a $1.50 transaction is rounded up to $2, the difference would then be 50 cents, and the bank would give the customer an extra 50 cents for free. We'll go to the next section of the presentation and talk about the results of the program.
The Keep the Change campaign turned out to be a big success for the bank since the campaign launched in September 2005. First, 12 million customers have enrolled, saving a total of more than $2 billion of all new customers, 60% of enrolled in the program. Second, more than $2 billion in total was saved by more than 12 million customers who have signed up for the program. And finally, 99% of customers who signed up for the program stay with it. So what are the takeaways after going through this entire process?
So, as Ha has presented, this program was very successful, and its success was thanks to their design thinking approach. Their entire research process was very people-oriented and open-minded, and they were willing to listen to people's personal stories and habits. Thus, they were able to precisely define the problem through empathetic lens, addressing real struggles by real people. The solution was also ingenious. It does 2 things at once. It emulates a habit most people already incorporate in their everyday lives, so they do not feel disoriented or unfamiliar. And it turns that habit into a good thing, which is saving money. The process is done automatically, so that those who use their program do not even notice, and thus do not have to put any effort or thought into it. They simply continue their spending, and their saving account fills up. It is time saving, money saving, and very approachable, especially for boomer age women who are not technologically adept. So what's next? Well, one issue that this program does not address is the systematic disadvantage against certain groups of people that is inherent with the process of owning a bank account in the first place. A research paper called "Who Doesn't Have a Bank Account? Implications for Social Security Privatization" by Thomas Hungerford states that higher income people, older age people and whites are most likely to have a bank account than others. The main target demography of this program, which are white boomer age women, are likely to have access to bank accounts. Meanwhile, of the 20% of American families who do not have a bank account, the majority are people with lower income, lower education, or are people of color, immigrants. It is those who are already vulnerable to poverty who are the least likely to have experience with basic financial institutions and thus least likely to be able to save money and use this program. So if the Bank of America plans to improve their program to be even more approachable and help even more lives, I believe these are the people they should cater to. So in conclusion, Keep the Change is a successful program in making bank accounting accessible to boomer age women in the United States. This is due to their empathetic approach and ingenious design, which turns a bad spending habit into a good one. Although there are some issues it does not address, as of now, it is a great program that makes saving money a simple process. So simple, you won't even notice. Thanks for your attention. If you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to let us know. Thank you and goodbye.